our topics on accident, cause and prevention. So basically, accident is something that we unplanned, and most likely uh, it happened suddenly, and then the accident, it may cause injury to workers and properties, or your asset. So injury is something that we want to avoid from happening. So injury can basically in the form of sustained uh, by the body as a result of an accident. An injury can be classified as major injury, minor injury, of little injuries. Okay. Minor injury, basically you may need some minimum health attention or medical attention. But major injury cause uh, you to take more time to recover and cause a permanent uh, disability to your body if you had a major injury. And also fatal injury, basically um, fatal injury is something that lead to death. So that injury impair the person, disable the person, and eventually cause death, and it may take a very long time, up to years. So why do accident happens? Before we uh, can prevent accident, we must know why they happen and basically how. So there are many theories, causation effect, in safety. One of the most popular is called as the domino effect, domino theory. So so we're going to look into this type of theories and see how we can help us to understand basically the concept. So this theory, is established by Herbert W. Henrich. He stated that uh, the statistic, based on his study, 80% of industrial accident caused by unsafe acts. It is mostly related to behaviors, according to him. 10% due to unsafe condition, means the environment or the condition of the workplace. And only 2%, according to him, are unavoidable. Means that everything all has been in place, but the situation caused the accident to happen. Like for example, disaster, natural disaster like earthquake or uh, hurricane. So recently they have like volcano eruption, but you may think that it's possible to avoid the uh, risk from living along the or around the volcano areas. But there are a lot of reasons why people still living on the area. Okay, one of the reason probably that they have been advised by expert, telling them that the volcano is not active, and based on their statistic or expert opinions will only be active maybe in 100 years, 200 years. And also the area around the volcano are a good soil or fertilized soil, so there are much benefit. And maybe on top of that, where else they can live, they were probably very limited area to live. But yeah, according to Heinrich, back to the topic, only 2% are accidents are unavoidable with that. So that means that if we prepare, okay, our organization, ourselves, okay, 98% of the accident can be avoided. So the inherent axiom of industrial safety. So the injuries is a result of many factors. One of it's the accident itself, injuries. An accident can occur only as the result of a self act by a person or a physical or mechanical hazard. So if actually in the second statement there's a combination of unsafe act and unsafe condition. And according to him, is the most accident because of the behavior or attitude. And as an unsafe act by a person who unsafe condition does not always immediately result in accidents. Yeah, it's not immediately means that by any chance, okay, accident, okay, may incur or not incur, may occur or not occur due to this condition. It's like you know it's your luck. You yeah, are not condone any behavior like you if you play with fire. So there's a risk. So most likely not happen, but there's an instant it could happen. You may get injury by when you are playing with fire. So the reason why people commit unsafe act can serve as help to guide in selecting corrective actions. So it's like plan, do, check, action. In safety, you do investigation. Basically, if you have an accident, you do investigation, come out with the cause factor where the accident may happen, and then you apply a correction or corrective action. So like for example, okay, you if they, because of the lack of training, so you give more training. If there is no enough supervision, so you put more supervision. So remember the term as long as is it practicable. If you're not practicable, so you don't have to, I mean, you have to balance between the risk and then the cost, the time. Severity by accident is largely unpredictable. So although we can predict, we can put a number on that, but the outcome, okay, no, usually will not be the exact magnitude. but according to Heinrich, accident is largely preventable, so you can avoid. Okay, we can reduce, we can narrow down. Okay, like you are driving, so it's true that if you even you use seatbelt, okay, the from you don't know whether the accident you're going to involve is going to be a large accident or mean a major or minor accident. Okay, but if you don't put the seatbelt, so of course the severity will be high. So the best accident prevention is by having a best uh, system in terms of management, productivity techniques, okay, in producing in production. Talking about production, so many factors lah you have to consider, like the machine quality, okay, and okay, working hour of um, the workers, the health lah, in term of, yeah, that will affect their health, and then the psychology. A good organization will always appreciate, okay, celebrate, for example, the worker by, okay, having a family day, for example. So those are the things that can improve the situation. Okay, and then in terms of the supervisor is the key person to prevent. So that's why uh, any company will put a supervisor. That's their job, to monitor things. Okay, you may think supervisor don't do anything, but for a good good organization, if the number of accident, okay, lost time, LTI, or lost time, is low, that's a good indicator. So other than that, it's like costs or hidden costs, okay, due to the accident. Indirect, for example, you have to pay compensation to your worker, okay, and if the worker okay, apply or file court claim due to the negligence. So those are the, discussion in the Heinrich Axiom of industrial safety. According to Heinrich, there are 5 factors in successive or in sequence. Okay, the first one is ancestral and social environment, or basically the work culture. So the first one is basically something that is passed down, okay, to the next generation of worker, probably from the seniors. So is something, yeah, okay, may lead to the, development of work culture. And second one is the fault of individual. The individual play an important role, and they have to be honest to everyone. And like for example, if they are tired, and also the supervisor must be fair. Okay, listen to the, okay, worker, and then, of course, there are many factors there, many things to consider. Like workers are sometimes they take advantage of the uh leniency of their supervisor. Okay, so this, in this case, on in theory, fault of person is the second factors. Okay, or like for example, even the work culture is bad, but if individual Okay, individual have a good sense, okay, or skill, so accident may not happen. You know, we are in country, okay, like in third world country lah, including Malaysia. But in Malaysia have been improved a lot. But you may see in other countries, even in milling process, okay, where they handle steel that have been uh, heat up until it's lit up red. So and then the next they need to press, okay, and then all the work were done manually. Okay, so people were doing it without the protective PPE, but somehow they manage to uh, do it without having any injury, because okay, because of their attention of their skill may be high, but the risk is out of chart basically. So even work culture is very bad if the individual have a uh, good skill, so accident may not happen. Okay, and then the third factor is unsafe act or unsafe condition. Okay, and then will lead to accident. Okay, and if there is an accident, there could be injuries. Okay, sometimes when there accident, everyone, okay, uh scared off without any sustaining any injuries that's possible, but okay, but that's just lucky situation. So it's like dominoes, the factors, okay, arranged in, okay, in domino manners. So the last incident or the occasion is the injury. So by removal of the central factor, okay, like for example, unsafe act. So that will basically uh, re- uh, stop from accident from happening. Okay, so by removing the unsafe act or and condition. Unsafe condition and unsafe, and we're going to see unsafe condition and unsafe act. So unsafe condition basically within the working environment, which will leads to the worker to and chances to be exposed to accident or having any accident. So example of unsafe condition is ineffective safety device, ineffective like broken harness, or broken seat belt. Okay, like extinguisher not working, so that is basically unsafe condition. And the next, the safety device required but not provided. Okay, PPE lah, not provided. Poor housekeeping, material on floor, stacking. So everything were sitting or scattered on the floor without the proper uh, proper place or like shelf to manage the item. Defective equipment, also unsafe condition. Improper dress or apparel for job. You are not using the correct like not using a glove when handling, for example, handling welding device. Okay, but in some occasion or some tools you cannot use the glove. You have to. That's why you have to read the safe operating procedure. Okay, and also the standard operating procedure. Okay, and also like not enough lighting. So there's standard for lighting. Okay, if not good lighting, so you may not see properly. Okay, you cannot go around. Okay, you may stumble upon something. And also like ventilation. Even in your house, if you don't open the window in the morning, so basically there's no good ventilation. So you need to ventilation to, especially in our country, our environment is humid, meaning that there are contain water vapor. So the chances to uh, generate molding on surfaces is much higher. Okay, so ventilation also poor, basically poor ventilation is unsafe condition. Like in the COVID situation, unsafe condition, crowded people. So that's basically condition. So this of condition is like, okay, improper chemical management. So all the chemical has been piled up uh, in a room, for example. Okay, chemical, okay, need to be properly stored and then also classified. Yes, in USHE 2000. That's for labeling. Oh yes, USHE. So there's a regulation on how to keep uh, the item or chemical especially. And you see in this picture, okay, some of the chemical has uh, fume, okay, causing corrosion on the metal or the metal pipe. So that's a bad reaction. So that indicates some of the chemical is like already leaking. And this condition, unsafe condition, broken steel stair. I mean, you can say hole on the steel stair, okay, due to corrosion. Okay, you can describe that hazard. So people may step on it, okay, and your leg could stuck on it, and will cause injury. If there is any injury due to the rusty steel, it could lead to tetanus, for example. This one also unsafe condition, whereas there are few things that we can see here. You're not sure whether the barrel is empty or containing chemical. So, but in this picture is looking that there's a big structure, is like a container. It was put on top barrel as a support. So that barrel is not the safe support, whereas it is not fixed into the ground. Okay, and then easily tilted over. So this is a unsafe condition. Okay, next we look at this picture. So there are live wire. If not mistaken, there are live wire on the ground. Live wire from the equipment, and there are water. So this could lead to electrical shock. And this one is like okay, expired hose. So hose, gas hose, okay, welding hose. So need to be replaced. And then Unsafe Act is on the part of the person in which increase the person chances of having an accident. So this is more like your action, related to the action. And many workers take unnecessary risks on the job because they do not have an accident. So they feel that it couldn't happen. Okay, because from previous experience, nothing happened. So nothing is like some people feel that they are invisible. So nothing that can hurt him. Or unsafe act like horseplay, playing around. Okay, in at the workplace. Okay, like for example, playing with air pressure. So there are true cases where people, worker have basically uh, playing with the air pressure, can stick it into his friend, okay, lower part, back, and then the air go into, when they press the air pressure go into the intestine and then blow up the intestine. This is a true story. Okay, and some worker, the other story, okay, use the air pressure. Okay, they were tasked to clean the item. Okay, there's a nozzle. His task is to their person task is to clean the product. So from time when he was bored and then use the air pressure put into the uh, ear, so end up something uh, entered the ear and then punctured the inside. So many things that could happen in workplace, especially. You need to be very careful not to play around with equipment. Okay, so basically you need to like uh, do some reinforcement. Uh, Reinforcement, like I explained, could be like in positive, as in the like stick and carrot approach. Okay, you can give incentive to people who follow the rules, or you can penalize people who not following the rules. Advice is very important. At least you can politely ask person, okay, do you have family? Do you want to see your family again? So you say don't do unsafe act. Otherwise, okay, there will be no tomorrow for you. Okay. Example of unsafe acts: protective equipment or safety equipment provided. Okay. So if not provided, PPE is unsafe condition. But when it is provided but don't want to use, that is unsafe act. So that compound, okay, the accident causation. And then a hazardous method of handling material, uh, like handling lifting. So there are proper way to lift heavy objects. Okay, or they are in handling chemicals. Okay, if we are handling chemical, especially chemical students, if we're handling chemical, okay, if you have acid and water, do do you pour acid into water or water into acid? So that's you have to check, uh, especially like electrical engineering student. So you have to, okay, where, or you have to monitor the insulation. Don't handle or don't put your hand on exposed wire. Always wear insulation, safety boots. So those are actually insulation. Okay, so that the current don't, if you touch live wire, so don't, there is no live current go pass through your body to the ground. Okay, and no improper use of tools. Okay, you modify it as your desire or as your convenient, like saw, blade. Okay, you put on the handheld grinder and then use it. So that's very dangerous. Okay, don't don't use machine that is not intended to. Uh, okay, like, and then hazardous movement. Okay, like running or jumping, throwing. Okay, putting everything like uh, throwing it violently because you want to chase the time. Okay, you okay, you want to go home. Okay, immediately you want to waste no time. Those are the dangerous movement or hazardous movement. And horseplay, okay, playing uh in the working area. Okay, joking. Okay, so this is Unsafe Act. Okay, of course, this uh something that is very dangerous. Okay, lifting an item using lift on lift. So it's very dangerous. Accident can happen at any time. So this is a major, uh, basically a major offense. Everyone in this involved could be penalized, even though there is no accident. Okay. Of course, this picture is just a joke. There's no way this guy are doing it intentionally. Just an example. But anyway, it is a horseplay. Okay, don't may never know. Although they have unattached, okay, the saw blade from the power supply, but it may somehow spun due to the remaining power in the saw. We don't know. Okay, so best to avoid this action. Although this is, just for joking or whatever. Uh, and the worst thing that could happen that you take pictures, and then people know that's you. Okay, so you're doing something dangerous and then let other people do. So that's even worse. Like this improper way of using the ladder. There's no, sub. I mean, good support. Okay, any bad move or step, okay, will cause the ladder okay, to slip over, and a person can, okay, drop to the ground. And also this, okay, so how come, okay, company that work on million level, so they resort to something like this. Okay, you cannot imagine that, okay, using, okay, shortcuts to do things, even though, yeah, there are, yeah, like you say, like we see now, ancestral effect or ancestral factor, due to the work culture, right? They may have been doing this, okay, years, okay, and nothing happened. So that what they think. But accident, it doesn't count your years, doesn't count your experience. Okay, any wrong move, like for example, the ship moved to the wave, okay, or okay, sudden wave, so it may push everyone imbalance. Okay, so that person on the right will fall down in the gap. This one, like, uh, looks like, uh, Iron Man is like constructing the arc reactor during the capture, like in the movie. So without, by wearing the uh, glove, a proper attire, okay, I'm not sure whether not wearing the safety boots, okay, no uh, protective shield, okay, not protective shield, or okay, on a helmet, protective helmet, not wearing, and okay, you can say that working at height, okay, I'm not sure how, at least 10 feet, maybe. No proper guarding or no proper harness on the body, because that stage is not complete. Right? So this, yeah, like I say, work culture. Okay, some people pick up the, training, or from without the proper training. So maybe they have a, business, welding business, um uh, passed down from their father. So their father teach them how to do welding without a proper training. So those will take cause an unsafe act. You may never know when accident will happen. Okay, we look at this, the unsafe condition. For example, uh, unsecure, uh, okay, unsecure rope, or maybe in this case, unsecure uh, chain. And then unsafe act, okay, worker walking down, or under the hosting object. So there should be an observer, okay, cordoning, I mean, okay, make sure there is no one walking under uh thing that is trying to be lift. Okay, so if the chain is broken, or the connection is broken, and then the item fall, didn't hit, okay, the worker underneath, so that is called as near miss. But by any chance, if this fall over the worker, so that's an accident. So this is another example. The broken rope, or wear on the rope. So the rope is have been used many times, so exposed to wear and tear. So a good uh, worker should have do the check every time. So you see the weak rope, and then working when they use the weak rope, so that create a unsafe condition. And then also there must be a safe operating procedure where, like for example, do not be near on tight rope. Okay, so if the rope is snapped, okay, and then it will suddenly, okay, wind. But if the person beside the rope is not lucky, so the rope will wind and snatch his leg, okay, and then cause injury. So that accident. But if this happen, it must be if no accident, it must be also be reported as near miss. Okay, so that's one part of uh, uh, accidents related or accident cause and prevention. Especially we talk about the theory, domino theory accident. Okay, so we continue. So let's look at the next topic, which is machine hazard. So machine hazard is a mostly a physical hazard. Physical hazard. So that machine basically have a power supply of power driven machine. They can be either fully automated, like robotic system or robot arm, or it can be manually operated, uh, whereas the system need some part of the process need a person intervention. So machine can be tasked to do many things. For example, drilling, cutting, shearing, patch chips, stamping, and so on. Okay, they can be used to perform many uh, uh, form of task. So in general, okay, when dealing with machine, there should be some measure, safety measure. And one of the most common thing is the safeguarding. Uh, so safeguarding, if not in place, or that's the unsafe condition. There's no safeguarding. There's an unsafe condition, and also some unsafe act related to worker. So if they don't follow the safety precaution, okay, so accident could happen. Okay, we look into this example hazard. This pictorial. We'll try to describe it using a proper wording. Back on the left here, uh, we have a drilling. Okay, drilling bits basically, or rotating drill. Okay, you can see rotating drill. So those are the hazards. So of course, if handled carefully, there's no problem. But the possible consequences for winding, entanglement, or drawing in, like if you not wearing a proper attire, or wearing like necklace, Okay, if students with long hair, so don't wear, okay, scarf to cover your head, so your long hair may wind up on drilling or rotating drill, so they make entanglement. And then we have like rotating wheels, so that it can cause the cause, possible cause harm, can cause winding, also entanglement, crushing. So if like hand is can get into the rotating wheels, then we have this rotating what do you call it, is the grinder, rotating grinder. The grinder itself is, okay, like I said, you have to describe the hazard with the adjective. Okay, if the grinder is not turning off, so basically, yeah, there are hazard, like object on the table, for example. Okay, heavy object, we call it as a heavy object. But in this sense, if this operating, so the hazard is rotating grinder. So if you're not properly using it, it could cause entanglement. So like say you have you wearing uh, on your wrist, uh, something on your wrist. Okay, or your uh, clothes is not properly tight, okay, and clumsy, for example, or you wearing for some reason lah, you are wearing a tie. That's improper attire lah. Okay, you wearing tie, so most often couldn't happen, but it's not possible. It's not impossible. Someone wearing tie. Okay, so you have to avoid all those. So it's a grinder. It could cause drawing in or burning on the skin. Okay, if you're not using it properly, like not using a glove. Okay, and or maybe it could cause projection. Okay, sometimes, okay, you have an object, okay, you try to grind the surface, and then the object break, and then some of it, the chip off, flew, and then gets flew somewhere lah, but by in worst case it could flew into your eyes. So that's basically projection due to the, okay, rotating grinder. So you have to be prepared, okay, to reduce that risk or the consequences. And then we have like roller press, okay, rotating roller press. So it could cause a drawing. I mean, uh, if like, okay, you're wearing a jacket, okay, or muffler, muffler that you, okay, hold on uh, like the football supporter muffler, to have the club names muffler. Okay, that could draw in, okay, tangle you up and crushing. This similar to like the uh, sugarcane machine. Sugarcane machine is basically uh, highly high hazardous hazard. If no proper guarding, so it could cause hand to be crushed. And also like rotating arm robot, rotating or moving arm robot. So they on you design the robot. You decide how they behave. Okay. Okay, maybe you could put the safety measure. The robot can sense if there any human present. Do by sensor, it could stop. But still, uh, because this robot mostly they don't have that haptic feedback. Means that if they sense they want to hit something, they will not draw back. Okay, they will totally proceed with the movement. So if the handler or the person is within the area, okay, it could cause impact or crushing. So that the best, okay, to avoid or from entering the movement area of the robotic arm. So that's the best. Okay, next, here we have like in the washing machine and rotating. So you have the you can say the in the washing machine, uh, rotating spinner or barrel, rotating barrel. So most of the it washing machine came with a safety feature lah. If you open, okay, then it will have a braking system. Most of them have braking system, but usually it will not stop immediately. The braking will take some time, so that's a hazard. Okay? And there's also a handheld grinder, rotating grinder. So the similar, and this is moving stamper or presser. Okay, moving stamper or presser. Okay, I just another thing. I just share you the slide for today. Uh, so I have sent an email. Yeah, I hope that you already received, okay, the invitation to get the slides from your email, right? So like this stamping machine is a good cause crushing, okay, sharing, severing projection is all the possible injuries. Rotating saw, and then punching needle. Okay, ini rotating gear. This is rotating auger screw. So they use for mixing material or rotating arm. Okay, those are the types, okay, of hazards in machines. So I just giving you the guide how to write down the hazard, adjective and noun. Don't forget that. And then the possible consequences are similar lah. Okay, and some have more. Okay, I think you can figure out this condition, the other process. Like for example, this is moving piston, moving extender. So used to displace or move object. This is a moving platform. This one, in this case, is like a gap. Gap. You can say conveyor gap. Gap can be any gap. Okay. So you explain as a conveyor gap. Oh, this is a conveyor separating blade. I wouldn't say blade. Blade is something very sharp. Conveyor separator. Then this is rotating blade. Rotating belt. BELT belt. This one could be rotating gear or rotating chain. Okay, rotating chain with the, I don't know, is it with the nipple or something. Okay, let's say that rotating chain. Okay, so it has a gap. Okay, you can say gap on rotating chain. So those are how you describe the hazard. You have to specifically describe, not just like gap or platform. So platform is a platform. So what's the adjective? Okay, what is describe the platform in terms of what? Okay, the moving platform or the gap between. It also can be gap of platform, moving platform. So also that is the hazard. Movement also the hazard, because when it move, it could hit something. Okay, so when there's a gap, okay, when the platform fail, safety fail and can crush, okay, people or anything lah. Think like the rest here you can figure out. Okay, the describe, like in the bottom here down is like what's that? The narrow gap, narrow space, narrow space, working space, narrow working space. So that's also dangerous. Can cause impact or crushing. Okay, why do machine accident happens? One of it is to when something is stuck or get into the motion of the machine. So operator or any person have that tendency though. You have like this impulse. You want to clear, you want to reach that, you want to grab. Okay, like for example, you are wearing a cap. Okay, and then your cap is stuck into the rotating machine. So people have that impulse so to immediately reach. So that's that's important. Whatever happen, so you need to calm down or don't panic. Like in electrical sense, also true. Like for example, the power socket. In some cases, power socket got heat up and then melt the pin, and then when this pull, so one of the pin is still stuck on the socket. So some people, it is actually a true case. So they have that impulse to pull that exposed pin with their hand. So immediately will cause of electric shock, because the main power is not turned off. That's why you need to understand how machine operate or things operate. Okay, so usually machine they have this emergency button. No, they have the emergency stop button. So if any accident, anything tangle up, you press that emergency stop button. Okay, don't panic. Okay. So and also unauthorized person doing maintenance or using the machines. Okay, there are cases, especially students, okay, rushing up to complete the experiment. So they came on weekend with their brothers or sister, the sibling. So they are not authorized person helping them. They don't know how the machine work. Okay, then accident happen. It's a true story. Okay, some lab or some even to me to me like I'm observing some lab. So they are having heavy machinery like welding machine, saw, drill. Okay, sometimes students are letting any student, okay, let's say I want to drill something. Okay, I cannot use it. But that's a bad you know uh culture in your workplace. You should have the mindset. Do you have training? Okay, you should have training. Do you know how to use? No. Let me do it for you. You have to do it. Okay, for the person who have no experience. Okay. Don't let anyone doing or using the machine without knowledge. It's very dangerous. And then also missing a loose machine guard. So technician must check. So we work together. Like you look at the machine guarding or lack of training, and also not using a method. It's called lockout, tag out. So lockout, tag out, we will explain later a bit. A safeguard basically something is to use to eliminate or reduce the exposure. Uh, so any moving part can cause injury, but in some cases, moving parts cannot be guarded lah. In some cases, like in what do you call uh, uh, I forgot. Drones. Okay, drone. You cannot put the guarding on the fan, otherwise the efficiency for flying to be reduced. That's for instance lah. So the other measure is to stay away from the drone. Okay, clear up. Okay, so any point of operation must be guarded to protect. Point of operation, if okay, we refer to the area. Okay, you need to know like the robot arm. What is the furthest extension of the robot arm? So you take a radius. So that's the point of operation. So make sure there is a, for example, marking on the floor. So and then put the guarding. So there are many way to guard the machine. Like for example, point of operating guard, point of operation devices. Okay, safeguarding by location, personal protective. Okay, we look into it. This point of operating means that the guarding is on the machine, okay, or the fixed guard, and then interlock and adjust, and then also there are also adjustable guard where you can move a bit. So this is point of operating guard, like a casing to the machine. And then these are the other example. Um, for this is point of operation device. This is point of operation guard. Point of operation device for devices. Okay, hang on. Okay, point of operation devices, basically there's a stop button lah, emergency stop button. Okay, where or if you want to handle the machine, okay, so the lever must be pressed or must be hold, otherwise the machine will not operate. To make sure your hand, okay, is far away, like for example B case a machine of paper guillotine, paper guillotine. there's a blade guillotine that cut the side of the paper so that it become even. Okay, this is in the printing shop. So before the blade go down, so you have to pull the two hand lever. So make sure that your hand is away from the blade. Okay, like your car, your automatic car. If it's if the gear is not on neutral, no, if gear is not on park, the car will not start. So that's all the point of operation devices. There's are the other example. But I think this is not exist any longer in the industry, like this kind of point operation device. But this is example. Yeah, the other example like this, okay, using light curtain, like a photo sensing device, like the same welcoming buzzer or welcoming like in where you go into the 7-Eleven, so if you pass the door, so there will be sound. So basically that's similar concept lah. So if you person too close to the machine, so the machine will stop operating. Okay. Emergency trip wire, some other example, standby. Okay, if it is emergency, so handler can pull the wire. And then the pressure sensitive mat, okay, on the, make sure that there's no one entering the area. Okay. And safeguarding by location means that make sure, okay, your hazard is beyond the reach of average person. Average person like 2.5 meter. Some people are much taller, so we take the average, the 2.5, so make sure the hazard is unreachable. So it involves the design process, determining the height in the design process. Okay, PPE, okay, one of the control measure. Okay, remember in the control or measure, PPE is the least effectiveness. Okay, first we have eliminate, substitute, isolate, engineering control, and administrative. Okay, and then PPE. So remember, PPE is the least, but one of the compulsory things, okay, you have to wear. Okay, like in from lab to lab is different. Okay, you have face protection. Take out or lock out. This is one of the method. The handler, the supervisor of the lab must be aware. So if there any broken machine, so they have to put the lock on the machine so that no one can operate. Okay, so some of the common sense. Okay, so follow the safe operating procedure. So usually the safe operating procedure is put on the poster beside the machine. If not available, you ask, okay, how, okay, to handle the machine, like for example drilling machine. Okay, don't make sure no more hand glove is prohibitable, so otherwise it will tangle up. Okay, and then make sure you are properly trained. Okay, never start a machine before you wear the PPE. Keep away from the machine. Okay, don't be too near. Okay, do not remove or adjust any guard. So you feel that, okay, the guarding is basically, you think reducing the functionality of the machine. No. Okay. And then clothes, wear close fitting clothing. I mean, don't wear anything that is too not according to your size, okay, or so which that could possibly entangle with the rotating machine. You do not wear necktie, ring, jewelry. So keep that in the locker. Okay, wear hairnet if you have long hair. Okay, do not try to repair unless you are the repair person, the repairman. Do not clean the moving part while machine is operating. Okay, treat an unguarded machine as out of the although they are working, so do not use it. Report the all missing guard, and then do not remove take out labels. Okay, so that's okay. So let's proceed with the next, which is a noise hazard. So in this afternoon session, I think we go through the points and then give you some time to revise tonight, and then we'll do more activities tomorrow lah. Tomorrow before our actual quiz, not for the actual assessment. um, so noise, it basically is a form of sound, but actually there's some missing. I think need to explain, but it's not in the slide. So you need to know your ear, the construction of your ear. So basically your ear have, you need to know you have the cochlea and so on. Okay, but it's okay. We go through the what is sound, basically a form of energy that travels through the air, okay, or through the air or medium. It could also travel through fluid or solid. It cannot travel through space. I mean, outer space is basically quiet. Okay, so and the sound can be measured, okay, using tools, equipment, and noise is basically unwanted sound, and
Doctor,
noise is basically random. There's
excuse
no
me, doctor.
pattern. Okay, the level is random. Disturbance is something else. Disturbance is
Doctor,
have
hello.
some pattern, but noise, something is random.
Hello, doctor.
And then we measure the sound using a sound meter. And then the level is in term of dB, decibel. Oh, these are the table showing the noise coming out of different
Sorry, doctor.
sources.
Doctor,
Okay, for example, okay, you have a jet engine. Hello, you have a question?
We can see the slide.
You cannot?
The slide, the screen.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Okay. Let me try again. Okay, let me, yeah. Okay, now it should be okay. Okay. And this table shows the range of the dB or decibel for different sources. Okay, sound level. For example, engine jet. So that's about 140 dB. Okay, that's beyond the limit of a human exposure limit. Human permissible exposure limit. So that's a new term in safety. We call as PEL. Permissible exposure limit. Okay. So noise, in term of the safety, they basically there are a few types. okay, of noise. Okay, and they are time weighted average, or the PEL, permissible exposure limit. There are TWA, time weighted average. Okay, time weighted average is basically in 8 hours. Okay, so for in okay, how many permissible level can be exposed in 8 hours. And then we have impulse noise level, or permissible level. Impulse is means that happen not in a long term lah. Like TWA is in 8 hours lah. That is a long term. Impulse, okay, like piling machine. So that's 140 dB, for example. So that's jet level. You could say it is an impulse. Okay, jet, it will just passing through very quickly. Okay, and also there are ceiling limit. The ceiling limit and the noise is 115 decibel. Okay, so the action level, basically action level of noise. Okay, we look into the next slide. So this is the level, okay, of decibel, like jet, up to lawnmower, okay, 100 dB. Lawnmower including the blower. So you may think that the blower always interrupt. So that is like impulse noise, meaning that it's not good staying there forever and then it will go away. So we are talking about, we'll see the exposure limit to human. Okay, like, okay, go down like the library, so the decibel is like 35 dB. Okay, safe of exposure limit. Okay, so basically that will cause the action. Okay, action means that you have, if you are exposed to, let's say in this case, at more than 85 dB. Okay, so that is the, okay, PEL, or the maximum level for 8-hour shift. Okay, so TWA, so that's the maximum TWA. So if the exposure measure in the machine like 100, so there is a measure how to reduce it. Okay, the like for example using a ear muff, okay, plus earplug. Okay, so I think ear muff and ear, combination of those will reduce about 15, okay, 15 dB. Or a plug basically 5 to 45 dB. A ear muff about 20 dB. Okay, so if you any noise, like for example, like so you are exposed, okay, like 95 decibel, okay, do 8-hour shift. So how to reduce to below 85? Okay, minus ear muff 5, ear plug. You know ear plug? I will show that. Ear plug is like a thing that you stick in your ears, and then ear muff that will also reduce another 10. Okay, ear muff. Okay, like your headphone. Okay, will cover your ears, so that will go down, okay, to 80 dB. So the exposure is below the limit. Okay, So 85 is the action level. Okay, action level, first action level. Remember the 85. Okay, at which must be informed to wear ear protection. But if the, I think it's now has changed, 85 to 82. We have to check. If the noise exceed 90, second level to protect ear is mandatory. Okay, no exposure above 115 is permissible. Okay, so not like in this level still permissible exposure, but they have to wear. Okay, the ear muff or the protective compulsory level. But if like I think not 85, 82, so the noise, there is a rule regulation, they update the regulation is as 82 dB. Yeah, this is a bit tricky lah. They depend on the scientific study. Okay. All right. So this is regarding okay. Okay, noise. This is regarding to keeping the record. Okay. So in section 11, so all record must be put say nicely or safely. Okay, in the period of not less than 30 years. Okay, and the audiometric test must be conducted by the employer. So I think this is in the regulation, in the noise regulation. Okay, so the compulsory of in noise regulation 1989. So there is a update lah on the regulation 2011 itu. Wait, hang on. There's an update 2020 2019. Okay, that update. So the fine has been increased. Okay, if the employer okay they do the offense, the penalty is not exceeding RM 10,000, means that the amount that could be maximum is RM 9,999 and may face a year. Like for example, they fail to do the auditory test or medical surveillance lah. Okay, medical surveillance. But in this case, auditory test to worker that been exposed. Okay, like for example, okay, have you exposed at 85 dBA for 8-hour shift? So they need to conduct the auditory test, see whether the ears is still working or still at the best or the health. Okay. So hearing loss, so there are conductive hearing loss, basically induced by noise by a machine. Okay, so they can cause mechanical rupture or dislocation on the eardrum. Okay, and a neural, basically prolonged exposure can cause hearing loss due to auditory nerve. So the ears, that's why actually we're supposed to explain about the ears construction. So do you like these are the hearing loss type. Okay, what first one is due to the eardrum and bones or in the middle ear, and then there's a neural or due to the nerve. And PPE, okay, working in the noise noise induced area, okay, you need to wear the PPE. So mobile phone headset or earbud are not considered approved hearing protection. Hearing protection device come with NRR or noise reduction rating. Okay. So NRR, a realistic estimation is like 50%. Okay. So basically the NRR rating, if you given like 26 dB, the actual rating is co-reduction is 13 dB. But NRR on the device on the PPE. If the NRR is given like 26, means that the reduction, the effective reduction is actually 13 dB. Okay. So this the PPE. So the ear muff or ear plug, those are the most common, okay, type of PPE. So if you're not sure, okay, you can ask the school. They I mean your lab technician. If you think the hearing PPE is not working, okay, you just let them know. Okay. So let's say like I gave you an example just before, the NRR rating for earplug may be written as 10 dB, and for ear muff maybe written as 20 dB. So the effective reduction is actually 50% from the NRR rating. NRR, noise reduction rate. So that's how, okay, the protection can reduce the exposure, okay, on your ear. But yeah, the minimum, the first, you remember, if the exposure limit is about 82 dB, that's the action level. So the auditory tests basically have to be conducted for person who are exposed to noise. Okay, 3 months. So basically, auditory test. Go to the auditory testing center, ATC. ATC. So DOSH can means tell the, okay, company or where to do the testing. But in our case, or mean the student case, I think most rarely you are exposed 8 hours. If you do experiment or lab, it wouldn't be 8 hours. Usually don't involve 8 hours. But this is a good knowledge. Okay, just to let you know, there are regulation. Okay. So how do you know noise place? Okay, nothing. Okay, the noise environment. So how do you know your workplace? So you do the noise mapping, noise mapping of your workplace. How do you do that? Use this device. Okay, noise mapping. So you mark, okay, the area. Okay. So noise, remember, noise travels through the air and then they reduce. So if you are a bit far away, so the exposure level is reduced. Okay. So if the exposed to the high level, few things that could happen. So the worker will be asked to rest, for example. Okay. It depends on the hearing. In induce, and it's called as, and this is called NIHL. Noise induce hearing loss. Noise induce hearing loss. I'm not sure which one, but one hearing loss, it could be temporary, and another one could be permanent. I think the neural loss, this one is going to be temporary lah, pekak badak. Okay, but this conductive hearing loss, some rupture dislocation on the eardrum, some rest or some treatment, so we can recover, get back the hearing after some recovery process. But neural, if it's involved in the nerve, it could be a permanent loss lah. So as good as using the sign language. Okay, those are about noise. Tomorrow we'll go to chemical. Today let's see on the physical hazard and biohazard. We will finish at biohazard for today. Tomorrow, okay, we will proceed with the chemicals, because chemical and ergonomic. And we need to go to the schedule. Yeah. Now is where at physical. And then ergonomic tomorrow and chemicals. And then we give you some time tomorrow. And the afternoon we do the quiz. And then we finish. Okay. Now we proceed with the next physical hazard, which is fire. Hang on. Okay, to me, fire is not absolutely hazard. It is actually an incident. Incident due to the preceding hazard, and fire itself will cause another form of hazard. Okay, so fire is, to me, is basically an incident, an occasion due to the hazard, okay, danger. So before that, you need to know. Yes. Oh, not swing. Okay. Hang on. There must be something wrong. Enable, I think. Okay. Okay, before that, you need to know the mechanism of fire. So basically, fire are conditions that favor the development of fire or growth. So there are three elements that require to start a fire. The first one is oxygen. Okay, oxygen is one of the gas. Okay, in particular oxygen and happen to be the same thing that we breathe. Okay, so fire is a catalyze. We will ignite one of the element that we ignite fire. And second is fuel. Fuel, okay, that almost everything in environment can burn, like wood, petrol, okay, diesel, gas, gases, uh, plastic, okay, polymer. So those are the source of fuel. Okay, heat also trigger the fire. Okay, like heat of the environment from the sunlight. Okay, from spark. Okay, spark like from machine, or spark coming out from welding machine, grinder. So those are the source of heat. So without one of it, there will be no fire. And for instance, if even there is oxygen, fuel, then there's no heat source. Okay, meaning that the fuel, okay, is safely inside the container. It's not vacuum, but away from heat source. So there will be no fire. Okay, or maybe put in the vacuum, but it's not practicable lah. Put in the vacuum. Or if there any oxygen or spark, but there is no fuel, clear the area that cause uninventable spark. Okay, any possible fuel is okay removed from the area, so the possibly no fire. So example of the condition that may cause fire. Okay, like in the kitchen. So what do we have here? Unattended cooking or stove means that someone has forgot that they are cooking. So leave unattended. So it's possible. And then what's next? Overload. Electrical connection. So if you are overloading the electrical source, so basically they will draw too high current. So if your system have a trip where it can detect overcurrent, so that's fine. Usually they have like trip we call it ECB, like a circuit board, circuit breaker. So it will automatically, but you need to be very very careful lah. Okay, and then what else here? And this may not be 100% true lah. In our country, we don't have the heater lah. This is maybe a covered electrical heater. So the cloth become the fuel, source of heat, and then oxygen in the space room. What's next? Oh, this one match. Uh, Fire matches. Okay. Okay. Many play by children, for example. Also, this is unattended iron. What's next? Oh yeah, maybe smoking. Is smoking cigarette indoors. Uh, so it may be a smoking cigarette indoors. So it also could be fire hazards. This is our obstruction to fire exit basically. This may not incur the fire or cause the fire, but this example basically blocking the fire exit. So you can blocking your safety when one want to evacuate, for example, in any event of fire. Okay, this is a example. uh, improper or improper or unsafe electrical connection. Uh, so this is done by someone without any experience. Okay, shortcut everywhere. Okay, this is what I call a shortcut to heaven. So this is very dangerous to be used or to to do. This is also the recipe for disaster. Okay, source of heat, fuel. Even worse, this fuel have oxygen and also the uh, catalyzer, like maybe hydrogen plus oxygen. So for welding machine, I think acetylene, something. I don't not 100% sure. Okay, so most likely it may not blow lah, because of the good standard, okay, of the uh, equipment. Okay, but if there, let's say, any leak, okay, but usually tank like this will not blow if it's full. It will only blow when it is empty. Okay, like uh, you know, our house gas tank. Okay, house gas tank. So if the gas is full, almost full, means that the pressure inside, okay, is larger than the atmospheric. So when there's fire, the fire will like fountain, okay, will not blow. But if pressure inside is equal to the atmosphere, so when there's a spark, fire go into the tank, so the tank will blow. So usually if the tank is full or have content, so it will not blow, it will induce fire. So basically this is like although fire can damage properties, okay, heat itself, the flame, okay, but the major cause of death in fire is not the heat itself, but the fume, the toxic fume or smoke. So uh, many victims of fire, so they die before exposed to the heat. So when there's a occasion of fire, there will be a lot of smoke. Okay, some of the things that you can do is do not stand when you want to go evacuate. If it's too dark, okay, hard to go out the house. So basically, crawl down. Okay, crawl and find your exit. So it is very important maybe you can practice now yourself or your family member. In any cases, where you should crawl. If you crawl down to the bed, where you should crawl. So God forbid, if in any occasion, fire occasion, you cannot see anything, it's too smoky, it's too dark. Type of injury, second, first, and third, depending on the severity. Third degree means that it's up to the internal, okay, deep down in the flesh. That third degree may require a lot of treatments. Okay, fire classified into A, B, C, D. Okay, A, B, C, D, flammable, solid fuel. Like A, solid fuel, B, flammable, liquids. In some country, they in I think the US it's called inflammable. Actually, those are flammable. English is a bit strange. And then C is electrical fires. Okay, D is metal wire fires. Okay, so fire extinguisher system is one of the system that can be used to set off the fire lah, okay, or extinguish the fire. In most like buildings, like in the residential colleges, tall building with many levels, that they have the fire hydrant system, or they have also have sprinkler and detection system. So technically in UTM or in our university, they have a good system. And then they have that central, and then have the local fire extinguisher. So depending on the class, A, B, C, D. And then they'll also have the firefighting equipment, okay, fire hose for the firemen. So the fire extinguisher, okay, around us, okay, it provide by the type A, B, C, or D. Okay, and usually there's a common, and this one is the one that can be used for any, except for electrical. I think type A, I'm mistaken. Okay, control measure. So when there's a fire, basically there's an emergency response plan for in case of any fire. Okay, in any fire, in the case of UTM, we have an emergency response team. Okay, so from time to time, okay, we have an exercise let you know how to deal with fire. So basically, what if any fire, you have to remain calm, but act quickly, do not panic. Okay, your objective is to survive. For example, if there any fire in the campus, so don't think about your stuff. Okay, you need to evacuate quickly. Okay, don't bring everything with you, your stuff, because it will be a burden. Okay, it will okay, make your evacuation process difficult. Okay. So basically, if you had a fire, you have to look at the fire, and then you try to extinguish the fire if it is small. Okay, and if you can extinguish the fire, if you're not, okay, you have to call the security or the emergency response team. Okay, there's a in every buildings in campus, or not all, but some have a emergency button. You have to break the glass so the emergency ring will set off. Okay, so this is basically the action. Okay, if there is a fire, you have to activate the nearest alarm and call the security. Okay, so like I say, you have to crawl to avoid. And then another thing you can do, if possible, get a cloth, and then if there's a source of water, dam the cloth with water and put in your mouth. And then this is how you use the portable extinguisher. Remember, PASS. First is pull the pin. Okay. A is aimed at the extinguisher. S is squeeze. S squeeze. And another S sweep. Okay, I will show you some video later. First is on how to deal with the emergency. Later, and how to basically example of emergency. Okay, this is the example. Even if you catch a fire on your clothes, there's a method. It's called stop, drop, and roll. Try to extinguish the flame. Okay, and then in your question, never use the lift. If the smoke is on the stairwell, find another route or exit. Do not re-enter lah. Don't be heroic. So in some video or in some situation, you see some people go back into the building. So that is not safe to do. Okay, that's actually putting a risk. So you should let the rescuer, like the fire, to do that. Okay. Let me find some video. Okay, that you can look or see. Hang on. Stop sharing. Mhm. Okay. Let me share you a video. So this video is on how to handle small fire. Remember in what I explained, if a fire is small, okay, you need to try to have to fight the fire. Okay, how to fight the fire? You must understand what makes the fire. Okay, so if you don't understand what makes the fire, so it will only make it worse. Okay, let's watch this video.
Splashes it everywhere, makes a much bigger mess, much bigger fire.
So, what's the proper way of putting out a grease fire?
Easiest thing, get right on top of it.
In the case of a small fire, also use baking soda. But the safest and most effective way to put out a grease fire is with a fire extinguisher. Captain Hamilton says, when using a fire extinguisher, the word to remember is pass.
You would pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze, sleep.
Whatever you do, remember, when it comes to grease fires, water is definitely not the way to go. Oh my gosh.
Okay, as you can see, okay, do not use water on grease fire. So you need to calm down. Remember, one of the element that makes up fire is oxygen. So you need to suffocate the fire, okay, by putting cover, or you can use a damp cloth, okay, on the fire, so that the fire wouldn't grow bigger. And okay, so there's another video I want to share you. So it's regarding emergency response procedure when there is a fire. Hang on, I try to find.
Doktor, maaf mencelah.
Yeah.
Nama saya Rishadi. Saya tanya, kalau
Mhm.
penggunaan macam pasir, tanah, tepung tu pun boleh dikira boleh memadamkan api ke?
Boleh? If possible, can be used to put off the fire lah. But you basically you use whatever available close to you. Okay. Yeah. Sand, you can use sand. But not usually there is no sand inside the kitchen unless the
So tepung boleh lah. Flour.
flour I never try.
Hmm.
But you know, flour dust basically is flammable. Flour dust. It's quite flammable. Not sure. But in that baking soda basically is not flammable. Okay. Not sure. My answer is I'm not sure
I'm not
about
sure.
the flour. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But sand, of course. Okay, maybe you have like that cat litter sand.
Oh, you get it.
I don't know lah. So the kitchen will be like
Baking soda is the best.
baking soda is one option. Okay, but most of all, you don't panic. Now again, we'll look at this video, like emergency response, uh, emergency response on occasion of fire. Oh no. Okay, so I think you got the idea there. Um, uh, what to do when any occasion of fire. All right, so I think okay we stop the call. I mean the for today. That's all for today. We will continue tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning. We'll proceed with the rest of the content, and then we will do preparation before your quiz. So thank you very much. Okay, we meet again tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.